as I speak, this is breaking, with Apple and Parler. I have my friend Dan Bongino. He owns a tiny little sliver of Parler, but he's alerted me to what's taking place, and it's now starting to spread all over the country. What is it, Dan? How are you, my friend?
Not too good, Mark. Really, I mean, everything you said there is accurate. I mean, these social media platforms have become the new public square. It's where people go to talk and exchange ideas. Some of the talk isn't pleasant, granted, but at Parler, we've always had the principle there has always been if you can say it in Times Square and yell it out legally, then you should be able to say it on a platform. Not all speech is comfortable. So long story short is we got a notice from Apple, seemingly randomly out of nowhere, basically threatening to take our app off the App Store, which would really hurt the company badly because we're not engaging in draconian speech policing policies. And the irony, Mark, of this whole thing is, as everybody knows, with Section 230, there are platforms and publishers. The New York Times is liable for its content, but it's a publisher. A platform that's neutral, like Parler, we're not responsible for all our content because we're not a surveillance platform. We don't surveil everything on Parler. The great irony is Apple is now saying to us that you're responsible for everything, every period and every semicolon on your platform, that's not what the law says at all. I mean, Mark, this is dangerous stuff because think about this. Granted, this is not a First Amendment argument. I want to be crystal clear on that. But I want to be even more crystal clear about this. This is even more dangerous than a government censorship article. You know why, Mark? Because you as a lawyer know this. If you're arrested by the government or fined by the government or there's some kind of action taken against you, there is a legal process. You have to be seen before a magistrate in some cases. You're entitled to a hearing about even a speeding ticket. When Apple comes for you and says, we're pulling you down, that's it. It's over. This is more dangerous than a first.
And what are they telling you? They're blackmailing you. They're saying either you become an editor like Twitter and ban the president and ban anybody who we think should be banned. We at Apple, and they don't even own Parler, they're just saying, if you don't do what we tell you to do, we're going to destroy you.
That is exactly what is happening. They want us to engage in draconian deletion policies. Granted, is there unquestionably bad content that people aren't going to like on Parler? But we have terms of service for that, Mark. You can't incite violence on our platform. You can't go on our platform and legally and engage in illegal.
All right, let me just stop you, Dan. Let me just stop you with this. No defense here. This is a company that does business with a regime that has concentration camps like the Nazis, that slaughters Muslims, that rapes women, that tortures people, forced sterilization and abortion. We don't need moral lecturing from Apple about any damn thing that goes on social media. Period. Who the hell do they think they are? Sitting there in Silicon Valley, multimillionaires, billionaires in their glass offices deciding they don't like what Parler's doing. And let's be honest, Dan Bongino, Parler's been under attack by the New York Times. Parler's been under attack by the Washington Post. Parler's been under attack by all these frauds who claim they support speech and the free exercise of the press, and they do not. They do not. They have a totalitarian mindset. So people go out and they start their own platforms. This is what we said, all right, let's have competition. And what do they say? Parler, you're getting a little too big for your britches, so we're going to destroy you. You either do what we tell you to do. You either conduct yourself like Twitter and you embrace Twitter's politics, or we're going to destroy you. Isn't that the bottom line?
Yeah, Mark, yeah. I mean, no one sums up. How do you add to that? But what you said about that there's no need for moralizing from Apple and Twitter is correct. Mark, Twitter has a post up from China right now bragging about the forced sterilization of Muslim Uyghurs. They have posts up by the Iranian mullahs sanctioning genocide, Twitter. And we're getting a lecture from Apple about a couple of idiots who posted some nonsense, which was, by the way, was taken off of Parler immediately because it violated our terms of service. We're getting a lecture? I mean, are you insane? What kind of world do we live in? Do you understand like what dark territory we're entering now, where we're going to have to communicate as conservatives via carrier pigeon soon? I mean, are we going to have to deliver handwritten messages to each other to dare? What are we going to have, speakeasies?
Let me tell you what's coming next, Dan Bongino. Radio. Yeah. They're going to come after conservative hosts when they can. Radio. I believe this. I have no evidence for it, but I believe it. They're going to come after.
No, it's already started, Mark. I have a show myself, as you know, and sadly, it's already started. And this, folks. If you think for a second, the Levinites out there listening to the show, if you think for a moment, I'm just going to sit this one out, this fight isn't coming to my door, you are insane. I have been warning about this for 4 years. I know your audience is smart and doesn't think that, but there are some who think they can sit this out. You can't. I'm telling you, it's only a matter of time before that pro-Trump post you put on Facebook 3 years ago is sent to your employer and you're canceled too. If you allow this to continue and we don't draw the line, you're next. All of you. That's
I want to strongly. Go ahead.
I just want to, because listen, this is unprincipled revolutions have always ended badly throughout human history. Famous last words in the French Revolution before the guillotine was yours were, "Hey, I thought I was on your side." There are no sides in unprincipled revolutions, none, and that is what this is now.
I want everybody listening to this program right now, all Levinites. And I know we're crashing the Parler system, but let's get in there. To get into Parler as quickly as possible, it's at Mark Levin Show Parler. And it may take you a few hours because apparently millions are trying to leave Twitter and come into Parler now. It's time to speak with your proverbial feet. It's time to speak with your proverbial feet. Twitter is monetizing your participation on that site. Facebook is monetizing your participation on that site. They are taking your private, confidential data. They are using it for political purposes. They are selling it to make money for them and their billionaire friends and millionaire friends on Silicon Valley. You have got to defend yourselves and defend free speech. That is, free speech among Americans. We cannot be controlled by these diabolical robber barons. The antitrust division, they acted this way, Apple now, because they know the antitrust division will be in the hands of the Biden administration, not the Trump administration. If you have a choice today, tomorrow, and the next day to buy the equivalent of an iPhone, don't buy an Apple iPhone. Buy Samsung. Buy something else. I have an iPhone. It'll be the last iPhone I ever own. You've got to demonstrate that you are serious about liberty and speech, that you're not going to be pushed around. You're not going to be pushed around by leftists dressed up as corporatists. You're not going to be pushed down by immoral companies that do business with a genocidal regime in China. I don't care if they're damn sneakers and basketball players or these titans, these big tech guys. It's outrageous what is taking place here. We used to have, Dan Bongino, civil libertarians on the left. They don't exist anymore, do they, sir?
No, and the great irony, Mark, is Parler. You know, we have left this over. We don't ban their speech because you know what the solution to speech you can't stand is? More speech, fighting back. It's not to ban people, like the communist CCP Chinese. Mark, this is going to end really badly. And to all the liberals, because I know liberals listen to your show. I know it. I see all the reports. To all the liberals that think this is funny and are mocking this tonight, I'm telling you, unprincipled revolutions always eat their own. It is only a matter of time before they need new victims to go seek out, and you'll be next. If you don't think this is true, just crack a history book.
Is Google threatening Parler too?
Google, we haven't had any threats from Google yet, but AOC, noted anti-civil liberties, anti-free speech advocate, AOC.
Yeah, she's a communist.
From New York. Yeah, total communist, is on her Twitter feed tonight tagging to Google and Apple that, hey, maybe you should give a look at Parler. You can go check out her Twitter feed. She's doing it tonight. And this is why your advice is spot on, Mark. Listen, I've always been honest. I was an investor in Parler because I believe in free speech. It has nothing to do with money. Nothing at all. Nothing. We have to talk with our feet. I stopped posting on
Wait,
Twitter.
wait. To your defense, people talk about doing stuff. You are doing stuff. The reason you're a part owner and a very small owner in Parler is because you're an entrepreneur. You're trying to create competition. There is no apologies needed for that. That's exactly right. Go ahead.
That was the only reason I did that, and the only reason I got involved, because I want to put my money where my mouth is. Anybody can talk. Everybody's got a plan, do something. But this is the thing. We have got to exit these platforms. You've taken a principled stand on Facebook and Twitter. I made my last post on Twitter this morning. That's it. I'm done. We've got to talk.
We suspended our account. I voluntarily suspended my Twitter account. I've left Facebook. I want all Levinites out there to please go to @MarkLevin Parler. And we're also now on Rumble. So that's it. That's all that's left. And, of course, my own website, marklevinshow.com, which happens to be a great website, by the way. And I want you to download my podcast. It's very, very important that you have that in your back pocket. And that is marklevinshow.com. Top of the center of the homepage, that's where you'll be. Hit the audio rewind, and then pick your podcast platform and download that app. Dan Bongino, can I carry over to the next segment, please?
Yeah, of course.
All right. We'll be right back with Dan Bongino, but before